One of the things that regulators look for is this persistent, to use GS1's terminology, but it's good, this persistent, steady, unique identification for legal entities, the businesses behind a transaction. We work with importers and broker community, but there is something called the importer of record that holds responsibility for filing compliant information that comes along with an imported good. And so for us, we need to be able to identify first that importer, but also once you've got that unique ID, you can hinge all kinds of really interesting data that is useful. From the environmental standpoint, the sky's the limit, no pun intended, to layer that information about environmental impact.
Hello and welcome to the Next Level Supply Chain with GS1 US, a podcast in which we explore the mind-bending world of global supply chains, covering topics such as automation, innovation, unique identity, and more. I'm your co-host, Reid.
And I'm Liz.
And welcome to the show. Welcome to the Next Level Supply Chain with GS1 US. We're here live, which we never get to do that much. 99% is remote.
It is.
But we're here in Orlando at Connect, and we have a very special guest from the government side of the house. But Lea-Ann, if you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself to our audience real quick.
Absolutely. So my name's Lea Bigelow. I am, from the government, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and I'm the Director of Green Trade for the agency, which means I'm really the champion, but I am certainly not a sole actor at CBP in bringing together all of our equities and focus on combating human-induced climate change as it relates to trade and environmental crime. We want to get emissions down almost to zero. No, that's very, very difficult in global supply chains. We also want to completely eradicate environmental crime. It has a nexus to all kinds of other terrible crimes, human trafficking, drug smuggling, you name it. If it's got a dollar bill next to it, it means there's probably environmental crime somewhere close to it as well. So it's a little known fact. But really, there are so many ways that CBP believe we can use our position of global convening and global influence, not just as a regulator, but also as a partner with private industry to really make a change in these very, very difficult sectors.
This is fascinating to me. One thing that just pops out, why come to Connect?
Ooh.
Like, what is the connection here? Pun intended, Liz, of course. Yes, go ahead.
It's a very beautifully named program, I must say. So this is actually my second Connect. I should say I was present at the 2020 Connect, which is all virtual, right? We were in month 3 of the pandemic.
That's right. That was a quick transition, too.
Very quick transition. And so that was my christening, really, in the Connect world. But this is a very different enterprise. Being in person, seeing the incredible technology and standards that exist around supply chain traceability, and really, from my perspective as a regulator, but also someone who really cares deeply about these challenges, how can we bring consumer visibility and data together with regulatory data that is collected both domestically and internationally? And how can we create this interoperability? So I wouldn't miss it, frankly. I think this is a great place to have those conversations.
It's so great. And the passion that you obviously have for this is so evident. And it's so fun just to listen to you and what your thoughts are on why you're here. And it's not just food, right? Here it's healthcare and apparel, general merchandise and healthcare and all of it coming together, which is really great.
Yeah.
From a GS1 standards perspective, using the standards, can you just help us from your perspective, from a government perspective, what they can enable?
One of the things that regulators look for is this persistent, to use GS1's terminology, but it's good, this persistent, steady, unique identification for legal entities, the businesses behind a transaction. We work with importers and broker community, but there is something called the importer of record that holds responsibility for filing compliant information that comes along with an imported good. And so for us, we need to be able to identify first that importer, but also once you've got that unique ID, you can hinge all kinds of really interesting data that is useful from the environmental standpoint, the sky's the limit, no pun intended, to layer that information about environmental impact. And not all of it is going to be information that we will use. I would say a very small amount, frankly, is going to be information we would use for enforcement or even compliance at this stage. What we're trying to do is develop facilitation benefits so that we can move cargo further and faster, get that into U.S. commerce, if we know that it meets environmental standards, if it meets the green standard. And again, you guys are the standards experts, but we are developing what we understand in the government to be the green standard for trade. That is still under development. I just want to make that clear.
One quick question. How involved do you get with other governments and collaborating to make it global so that things can move in and out of ports and customs and everything?
It's hugely important on every front to make sure there is that regulatory interoperability, but have we achieved it? Not entirely.
Sure.
And I would say in the environmental space, it's so dynamic and it's well meant, right? We're all trying to get at this challenge in different ways. We often use the word innovation to talk about technology. There's innovation in the regulatory and legal space when it comes to climate change. Sure. And I mentioned this earlier, the World Trade Organization, right? It's an arbiter of what is fair and right and just in the trade space. Big multilateral organization with almost 200 members. It had 5,000 different trade-related measures reported to it in the last 10 years that had a nexus to environmental or climate.
Wow.
5,000.
Wow.
Right?
How do you
So
even make sense of that?
This is right. So I think we all need to help one another to make sense of it. This is where sectoral boundaries really need to collapse because we're all trying to figure this out.
This is fascinating, and we can't thank you enough for stopping by and being on the podcast
Thank
today
you.
and being at Connect.
Yes.
And it's folks like you that just help us all connect, share, grow, and innovate. So thank you for stopping by today.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Next Level Supply Chain with GS1 US. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe to our feed and explore more great episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to share and follow us on social media. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.